Hello. There was a few individual topics that I was going to touch on. If they come up, they come up. But really, now I've actually sat down and took the time to make a video. What is truly important, and one thing I've realized more and more, is mental health. All mental health is ego. Okay? All physical health is ego. The more I'm understanding the mechanics of the ego, the more I'm understanding it is the cause of all suffering. I've heard people use the term healthy ego. What part of somebody says healthy ego? It's the ego. Ego is fundamentally separation consciousness. If we separate ourselves from the whole, we die. Ancient Taoist phrase is follow Tao, flourish, go against Tao, finish or end. So like swimming against the raging current, we come to an early end. It's because we are not moving with the current. There is a universal process taking place. Every single religion and spiritual tradition touches on the fact that we are all interconnected, right? The reason we can be ourselves around babies and dogs is because they haven't formed an ego yet. A newborn baby is empty of a separate self-identity, okay? So we can be ourselves. If you look into someone else's eyes, most people think, oh, is he judging me? Is he this? Is he that? They bring all their collective burden and baggage which exists in time, okay? And they project it and make a story up in the mind that makes them suffer. This is the ego. The ego is separation consciousness. It needs the idea of time. There's either something bad's happened in the past or something's gonna happen in the future. It's always somebody else's fault, okay? It's fundamentally a narcissistic behavior is the cause of all suffering. So how is that? If you look at anybody with mental health, and don't get me wrong, people with mental health may have had traumas in the past, and I appreciate that. And there's traumas that get triggered in the present, and I appreciate that. But if you actually, which is all karma, by the way, when we understand truly the understanding of karma, we understand that everything is up to us. There's no individual God that is punishing us. What we do makes ripples that come back to us. You know, my teacher said last time, he always simplifying the teaching further and further. He says, if I hit the wall, the harder I hit the wall, the harder I hate myself. It's harder I get hit back by the wall, okay? So everything is karma. So that's one understanding people don't understand, which I understand. I didn't know that. And when I did get it, it made a lot of sense to me. Very liberating teaching. But then we have the concept of time, blaming others. So sorry, let's fix this. So even if people, excuse me, I went off there a little bit. Even if people are facing traumas in the present because of their past, right? If you actually speak to them, what's triggering their trauma is a memory of the past. Okay, and a fear that it might happen again in the future. And the ego, whether you're suffering or not, needs to keep this alive. Okay, so what is the way out? The way out is to stay away from drama. Drama is the ego, okay? gossiping, drama. You know, this woke agenda, everyone is so gay. And I don't even mean homosexual. I don't care if you're gay in terms of homosexual. Everyone is just so narcissistic that they want to be offended, or they want to offend someone else, or they want to blame someone else for their suffering, or they want to be a victim, or they want to be above everybody else. It's all different angles and degrees of ego. I do not claim to be a Buddhist. I've spent a good 12 years researching Buddhism, Taoism, even some teachings, not so much in Christianity, but Hinduism, but mainly Buddhism and Taoism. The Buddha nailed it. The Buddha nailed it, honestly. The Buddha summed up 84,000 spiritual methods of enlightenment in one sentence, and I repeat it all the time. Nothing is to be clung to as I, me, or mine. The whole world is suffering. Just do this as a test. As a test, reflect on the drama in the world, reflect on the drama in your own life, and the challenges and the suffering in your family's life as well, right? See two things. Is it in time? So is it all in time? Something you said to me, I'll never forgive you for that. You did something in the past, and in the future, I'll never forgive you, right? Is it in time? Is it exaggerated? Okay, because the ego loves to exaggerate. But is it because of a clinging to I, me, or mine? You did this to me, right? You stole my car. You never give me back that $20, £20, right? That was mine. And I will never forgive you for it. Or you cheated on my partner. It's all I, me, or mine. I, me, or mine is ego. It's a separate I, and that separate identity clings to labels, clings to things. This is my car. I worked and I paid with my money and my hard-earned hours, and this belongs to me. No, it doesn't belong to you. Okay? The money you paid for the car doesn't belong to you. You don't own anything. We don't even own this body. This body is constantly changing. The body that's talking now is changed from when we started this 8 minutes ago, started this video. It's always dying and being renewed. It's different. And at one point, when it can't sustain consciousness, it will die. In fact, it won't die. We'll just leave it. It'll go back to the earth. We don't even own this. The idea of my body, the idea of I have a life. You don't have a life. You are life. Experiencing through a body. But it's not your body. It's not your car. It's not your house. Stop defending things and stop identifying as and clinging to I, me, or mine. But before you do that, it has to make sense. Spend a year if you want to. You don't need to do that. Okay, you can do it straight away. But spend time. Okay, so we are going to spend a period of time. But in the present moment, in the next 1 month, 6 months, 12 months, whenever you see challenges or something trigger you, right? Cause an emotional response in you. Just reflect on that. Is it because I am clinging to an I, me, or mine? Or is it because the person that's shouting at me is clinging to I, me, or mine? It's all the same. It's all drama of the ego. And if we don't move beyond the ego, we will get what we deserve. All these challenges and false flags and suffering in the world and wars that are being created are just a repeat of history. We've always done it because we fall for the same trick every time. And we fall for it because we fight amongst ourselves. Okay? This is my religion. You're not listening to me. This is my opinion that's important. I can't believe you said that. Can you imagine how different the world would be if everyone consciously didn't cling to I, me, or mine? There's no drama. There's no more drama. We are uncontrollable. There's no more fear. The last thing that ego can cling to is fear. I am scared of dying. Okay? I am scared of leaving my family. I am scared of having to move somewhere else. It's all fear. Imagine no one had any fear left. No one clinged to their ego. People were dropping the idea of time. You become uncontrollable. You can't be manipulated. You become calm and peaceful. You become a better sentient being that can save this beautiful earth. So if you're a warrior you're a light worker who's trying to fight for the light side, you're still on the battlefield and you're still being manipulated. Step off the battlefield, because the more we move away from I, me, or mine, we naturally become more compassionate, because we start to move with the flow of nature, the natural flow of nature. We move closer to our natural state of being, and we move into more of an enlightened state and an enlightened society. We really need to start taking responsibility for ourselves. Instead of looking outside and blaming people for our unhappiness, instead of looking outside for anything, how can I be peaceful? And if you do get ruffled, which is okay, reflect on, why did I get ruffled? Is it connected to time? And is it because I am clinging to I, me, or mine? Honestly, guys, try this for fun even. It is so true. All suffering is from narcissism. So mental health, everyone talks about mental health. It's a big thing now. And it is a big thing because right now with phones and everything, we're moving more into the ego. The more we move into the ego, the more information the mind gets and goes bananas, and the less present we are, the more mental health we have. Simple as that. It's not about stopping your thinking. It's about observing them and detaching from them, because you're not the mind. So how does that affect your physical health? If you are worried all the time, if you are not present, if you are separate, if you see yourself as being a separate entity in this world, right, and not connected to anything, if you don't feel like anyone loves you or whatever it is, the body pays the price for that. The body, it's taxing on the body. If you separate, I say this all the time, you separate a petal from the flower, the petal dies. You separate the flower from the flower dies. You separate the tree from the earth, the tree dies. You separate your consciousness from the whole, which is ego. You die, you become anti-life. And the body feels it. If you're stuck on computer games all day, you become anti-life. So that's how we get sick. When we see ourselves as one with everything, when we're peaceful, right? When we see everyone, when we want to help other people, and we become less attached to drama, and we start creating a gap between the mind thinking it's separate, the ego, and who we truly are, which is always present, we then breathe differently. We relax. We become more healthy. So The cause of all suffering is narcissism. It's the idea of an ego. Reflect daily. Nothing is to be clung to as I, me, or mine. It's nothing new. I've shared this for years, but it's becoming more and more clear to me the more I live in the world. I love you all. Take it easy.